This is recording. LNP sports reporter John Walk here with colleagues Jeff Reinhart and Mike Rose. We're on the horn today with Manheim Township football coach Mark Evans and Manheim Central football coach Dave Hahn. The reason being, we are coming a day later after the LL Board of Control voted to accept 13 Berks League football teams as an associate member into the LL League football only, beginning in the 2022 season. There's a lot of moving parts that still has to happen moving forward. But before we get to all that, we kind of want to have two top name LL coaches on here, kind of get their reaction. With that, I'll throw it to Mr. Reinhardt. Go ahead.
Okay, Mark and Dave, welcome. Good to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. Okay, Wednesday, big day, as John said here with this vote. 19-5 was the vote. Berks will come in 2022 for 4 seasons minimum. Let's start with Mr. Evans, 6A, for both of you guys. Mark, let's get your reaction. You knew the vote was coming. It came down as a yes vote. What did you guys think? And how's this going to affect Manheim Township moving forward, please?
Well, I think it's an exciting opportunity for us to merge with the Berks. Don't have any idea of exactly how it's all going to play out. I certainly want to make sure we're protective of the power ranking points and all that good stuff as it relates to making sure we're not, getting stuck with 4A, 3A, 2A type schools. But I think the framework right now and the direction they're taking this is a positive one. So I'm anxious to see what the section unveiling looks like.
Dave, same thing. 5A, Barons.
Well, I think first thing I'd like to say is compliments to Tommy Long and Kerry Serrata for really working on this over the last, better part of 2 to 3 years to try and make this happen. A couple of years ago, kind of ran into a stumbling block. But I think this time around, there was more transparency. And I know Tommy and I know Tommy was very open with us, and so were some other ADs very open about it. So I'm excited about the league. I think it's going to be a tough league throughout the state. I think it's a lot better situation that we'll be going into 2 years from now than the one that we're going to go into in the next 2 years. I think the current cycle, as far as I'm concerned, we could, forego that and let's just go right into the new league. So, there's plenty of things that are going to have to be worked out as well. But I'm being positive about it. I'm looking forward to it.
You guys kind of answered what was supposed to be my first question. Both of you kind of did, which is, and it's kind of a two-tiered thing. Number one, do you agree, and it sounds like you do you agree that the new league, this new merged league, potentially aligns better than the current LL and the current Berks League? And also, did the fact that you guys were not real thrilled with the way the LL League was set up, do you think that impacted the vote? Did they take into consideration, man, our football coaches aren't thrilled with the way things are now?
Well, you want to take that one first, Dave? I'll try to answer that one the best I can.
Go ahead. I'll add to it then. We
had a lot of dialogue prior to the way the LO had set up 2 years ago. We had a lot of dialogue, and then, like Dave said about transparency, and again, I echo his sentiments about the powers that be that worked really hard to make this happen. And I do think it's going to make it a better situation than we currently have, no doubt. And in dialogue prior to this one, I'm excited about the opportunity of having a large school section. So we'll see what happens.
Dave.
Yeah, I think the fact that you're going to have 6A schools playing 6A schools is appealing. You're going to have 5A schools being able to do the same thing in potentially a section 2 and section 3. If they go with the 5 sections, I mean, we're not quite sure if they're going with the 5 or if they're going to go with 4. That'll be worked out. But I think it's a good situation that we're going into. I think it did play a role on it because, it played a role in our vote, I believe, as a district. Our our administration, our athletic director, and myself were all on the same page. We had many conversations about it, and I believe it did play a role because, we in the past have had 24 teams in the league, and it just made sense. We're going to go 8 teams to a section, and we could all have our non-league games up front. But for whatever reason, they felt differently, and were trying to go a different direction, and they went to this 4-section league, creating all these crossover games that was not appealing to anybody. And in the crossover games, I mean, you might get some good matchups. I know we've had some. I know Mark's had some with some opposing teams. But contrary to belief, it does affect your playoff picture. So, I don't mind scheduling games that we have control of and then we know are going to be tough games. But I sure do mind it when other people do it, when other people have the control. And I think this puts more control back into the ADs and the coaches' hands.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. Yeah.
And I think with this, one of the concerns among many is possibly losing rivalry games. But looking at, I don't know, kind of proposed sections in the early goings here, it looks like we might still have that. I don't know if you guys can kind of speak to that when your AD's coming to you and asking you about that. How much of a concern was that for you in keeping those rivalry games?
I think that was a big discussion. Dave and I had participated in a sit down with some of the other Berks County, and we kind of looked into the future, if you will say, like to make sure that those natural rivalries that existed for a long time can continue. For example, in section 1, if it shapes out the way they're talking and all these predictions, and again, I don't have any deep, dark secrets that I'm going to reveal here, but I'm just talking just like you guys are. But for example, Lebanon, Cedar Crest, Cedar Crest will be in section 1, but they're 6A. Lebanon's going to section 2 or 3 if they do a split of 5A. But then they'll have the Cedar Bowl in week 10, and if it shapes out where the section 1 schools are all the 6A schools, there's going to be a mid-season bye somewhere that we're going to have to pick up a game. So you want to look into the other sections to see where maybe a natural rivalry would exist, like a great community game for us is Warwick, because it's so close and it's good for the communities. It's for the Battle of McDonald's, you look at the Mifflin-Wilson rivalry. You can think about the Hempfield Central rivalry too. That's a big one. So those are all things that I think they're taking a good long look at to make sure that those rivalry games still can exist, even if teams are in different sections. And Dave, you have any other insight, I guess, to add to that?
I guess I would say this. We back in the '90s we played Conestoga Valley, and of course that was the big rivalry. Jeff, you'd like to report on that pretty much on a weekly basis back then. But then that went away, and we quickly developed new rivalries. So I think everybody would agree that Cocalico has been a heck of a rivalry for us over the last couple of years, over the last 8, 9, 10 years. And I think LS has been too. So, those rivalries, we may have to build new ones, but they're going to come. They're naturally going to come.
Dave, if they go strictly by numbers, Central would be in 3 right now because of your enrollment. If they go 5 sections, if they go 5 sections and Central's in 3, will you guys ask to go up to 2 and switch with somebody?
We did months ago. We already asked to move up. Yeah. Okay. I made sure of that right away. I mean, but if we can't, I like the fact that the way they want to do it is you can only request to move up. Mm-hmm. You cannot request to move down.
Correct.
So what they'll do is a team that wants to move up, Tommy Long would go to the smallest team in the above section and ask if they would want to move down. If they don't, he'd go to the next smallest team. So it would work its way out that way. If nobody's willing to move, then you're going to stay where you're at.
I think E-Town would be ahead of you. E-Town would be the smallest in section 2. So you'd have to go to E-Town first to switch with you, 2 and 3?
Well, yeah, that would not be in our hands. We can make the request, but that'll be in the hands of, Tommy Long. Okay. So he'll make all that happen.
Gotcha.
I like
Right. The Drago proposal here, for whatever it's worth, has that happening. Has you guys in 2 and E-Town in 3. But to be clear about, I think what you're saying, guys, is if you have a 17 section, you would not be able to. You would have to schedule a non-conference game in the middle of the year, like not in September. There's no way around that. Correct?
Right.
That's what you're saying? Okay.
So what's going to happen is the way we left it is Tommy is going to create a schedule where he has built-in crossover games, but they're not mandatory.
They're not mandatory crossovers. They're just
Right.
non.
So
Yeah.
if you want the game, it's there for you, and he's already set it up for you. If you don't want the game, then you have to go out on your own. But keep in mind that might be a week 5, a 6, a 7, and 8, which are harder games to find.
Yeah.
I like the flexibility, even though those might be harder games to find. We're not having anything forced upon us, and I think the other part that I think they've done a really good job of this time is learning from the past. And I like the movement piece where they're not letting it be a free for all. They put some parameters on whether you can move up, and then and they're going to find somebody to move down. So I do think that the process this time around has been much more thorough, and I think they learned from the past. So I am very excited to see where this all shakes out.
Sounds like Tommy Long is an innovative genius, huh? Oh.
All of a sudden, he is. Yes.
Lebanon
He's a Lebanon Catholic product. What would you expect?
Hey, kind of switching gears here a little bit. We obviously wanted to have you guys on to chat about how you're kind of handling things as head football coaches of 2 top programs in the LL League during what has essentially been a lockdown these last 2 to 3 months. Kids essentially can't really congregate at the school and the fields and the weight rooms or anything. So how have you kind of been communicating not only with your players, but also trying to help them stay in shape as they're all at home?
Well, I guess since we started, what we've been doing is using platform program. The kids if they have access to weights, there's a weighted program there, and then they also have the option for a body weight program. Obviously, we can go in and see if they're completing their workouts. We have some real-time data in that regard. So there is a little bit of honor system here, but the one thing I keep saying is we'll find out who's done the work when August rolls around, and keeping the eyes on the prize that there is going to be in August. The other part is that we have two meetings a week as a team. We've been doing the mental side of things a lot more than the physical side, replaying the season over, talking about goals and direction for the season. Just spending a lot of time in that regard. We've met as a staff once a week. So we are staying connected. And I think that's the other piece, emails home to the parents weekly, just trying to stay in contact, letting them know that we're thinking about them and we're still moving forward like there's going to be a fall. So that's kind of what we've been doing in a brief synopsis form.
Dave.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is to provide some hope for our kids. I know sometimes I get a little discouraged when you listen to the news or you listen to the so-called professionals. You get a little bit discouraged because one day things look good, the next day, you're not going to be doing anything till next spring. So I feel like it's my job to give the kids a little bit of hope, prepare as if we're going to play, because we don't know any other way. And we've been doing, over the last 7 weeks, we left. And I immediately was doing position meetings for the last 7 weeks. So there'd be nights or weeks that I had 4 nights a week doing sessions with Zoom sessions with kids. I knew I was doing it. I didn't realize how much I was doing it until one of our tech guys at school said, "Yeah, you rank the highest up there with usage." And I thought that was pretty good on my part. But now we've transitioned to team meetings where we have offense on one night, defense on another night, and we're doing that once a week for both sides of the ball, installing plays, schemes, just really trying to, like Mark said, go over the mental aspect of the game, get our football IQ better, showing them some film on this platform, and we're we're doing workouts. The way we have it set up is every week I send out an email to the parents, to the players, to the coaches. I give them a workout, a body weight workout, and I give them a strength workout, depending on whatever meets their needs, what they have at their house, what they have available to them. And it's really, we talk about accountability, because this is on them right now. We don't have that control of having them in the weight room and be able to have that eye over them. So I'm encouraging them as much as I can and talking to them and teaching them about accountability. You're on your honor system. That's how we're going about our business right now.
Hey, are you guys the scrimmage? Township Central? You guys still supposed to scrimmage in August?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you guys?
I'm gonna put a plug in there. We're scrimmaging, and over the last couple of years, it's really been a great scrimmage.
Yeah.
And we've kind of added a twist to it. Mark and I got together, and we've kind of made it a fundraiser for Cole's kids.
Nice.
Each year, and we want to continue that. It's been we've had great success with it, so we both want to continue that.
Cool.
Absolutely. I see this being a good partnership down the line too. Just two programs that are close, share at least one name, common name in Manheim, and doing something fun and bring some what am I? I'm having a brain fart.
It's a rarity.
Some awareness. There we go. Boy, oh, Dave, this has been a challenge. Bringing some awareness to Coles for Kids and what they do. So it's been a lot of fun.
It's a great scrimmage. It's a natural. Mike, you got a last one?
Well, yeah. Are you guys assuming that even if there is a 2020 football season and it goes in some form, are you assuming that you're not going to have your guys until August? Because we know about this. I brought this up many times in these things. July 1st is supposed to be the end of Governor Wolf's closure of the school. Are you thinking or hoping July 1st is going to be a day when you'll be able to get back at it in some way?
Building on what David said about keeping the kids hopeful. We know that July 1 is a soft date. And I told our guys to not think of anything other, until they hear it from me. We're going to keep our eyes on July 1st as that soft date to start. And, Dave and I have talked a bunch too, off on the side about, planning for the season, about planning summer workouts. And, I told our guys that as soon as we know when it's going to start, they will have a full calendar and they will be ready to rock and roll. The biggest thing we can do is continue to give our guys hope. And so right now we're using July 1 as that soft date, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, July 1 is probably a little bit more of a harder date for me, although I know I have no control. But I send out an updated schedule, and our plan is July 1, we're going to get together in some fashion, even if we got to break up into smaller groups and with different coaches. And then, we're planning on the weight room activities resuming. And again, I understand it may look different. We might not have to be able to have everybody in at one time, but I'll make whatever exceptions we have to make. If it means, hey, you got 6 hours to get your 60 kids in, but you can only bring 10 at a time, we'll do it. We'll figure out a way to make it happen. But we have a schedule in place. And the kids know it, and then we'll just make adjustments where needed and if we have to. And the kids know that too. We've made it very clear that this is what we want to do, but we really got to follow the guidelines of our governor and the PIAA and what our district administration tells us we can and can't do.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you, gentlemen, for both making time. I know you guys both have something special going on with your kids today and juggling full-time jobs and all that too. And kind of personally on my part, it's after us being locked down, it's kind of nice to see some familiar faces and talk some football for a change a little bit.
Yeah,
so, all right, for Jeff Reinhart, Mike Gross, Mark Evans, and Dave Hahn, thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Stop.